Hello, 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 hello. Sorry. Another hello? Hello.
It is a sing-song kind of day.
Miss Rachel. Have you ever seen those videos with the babies who love Miss Rachel and she's like, and they just stop whatever they're doing and get their lives together?
It is wild.
I'm like, is this real?
Like, where was she? Where was she when my children were babies?
Where was she, Miss Rachel?
Yeah, we had Caillou. Let's not get started because we started off in a sing-song nice kind of day. I'm not going to go there. Hello, Vicki.
Oh, hi, Vicki. Hey, Hallie. How are you?
It's Friday. Oh, my gosh.
I have to mute this other thing over here. So some of you know, some of you don't. I have a job, another job.
How dare you?
I know, right? How dare I? But sometimes they be asking for stuff, and I'm like, wait a minute, I need this half an hour. So I have to mute my dingies over here. But I don't know how. So carry on while I figure out my life.
Hello, Francis from New Jersey. Hello, Leanna from Edmonton. Ivy Serenity's here. Monique is here. Hello. Happy Friday, everybody. Do you have weekend plans, Deveter? Let's jump right to it.
Let's see. Oh, guess whose birthday was this week? Yeah, this week. Michelle. Michelle's birthday was this week. Yes, Michelle, my good friend Michelle.
Michelle, who
the girls
is the reason you're even here.
It's awful. So her birthday was what days? The second? The fourth? Michelle, forgive me. You know your birthday. And I know.
Yeah, I hope she's watching, but hopefully she's not watching.
Yeah, I know, right? But she's having a little get together for her birthday on Saturday. So I'm going to hang out with Michelle for her birthday.
You know what? I need to check the mail. I didn't get an invitation. It might be in the mail.
It might be in the mail.
Right, Michelle?
It might be in the mail. It's probably just not made it to Canada yet. But that's what I'm doing on Saturday evening. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Just having a game night. So it should be fun.
That sounds incredible.
I
love games.
She's having a game night. So I'm looking forward to that. It should be fun.
That's really nice.
Happy birthday to my Michelle. And so I can't show you what I've been working on because it's actually her gift. So I can't show it.
That's totally big. Everyone's loving your hat today, Deveter.
Oh, thank you. It's actually a wrap. It's a head wrap, and I got it from Little John's Yarn. Was not on purpose.
Well, I think everyone thinks it is because
it was not on purpose, y'all. But I was like, oh, because right now underneath here is a whole nother situation up underneath here. Yeah, so
that's fair. No one would have known.
Let's put it away. Let's hide it until later when we figure out what we're going to do with it. So that's why I put this on. And then these are the earrings from Parlez-Vous Crochet. Jamie, remember Jamie? She had a pattern in Crochet Foundry magazine.
Yes.
These are earrings from her. So
beautiful.
That's what we're doing today.
Well, you look wonderful for someone who just tried to hide stuff.
Yeah, 10:43. I was like, oh, it's 10:43. It's alive. Let me get my life together. And so and then I put my mannequin, and she was like, I want to be in a party. And I had me, I'm gonna make it smaller so everybody can see what's behind me. Wait, let me see. Can I do it? Okay. So this is a little bikini top and a cover-up little thing. And it has a panty that goes with the bottoms that go with it, but it don't fit on a mannequin. They need to make a mannequin that you could put pants on.
Like in the retail stores.
Like in the retail stores.
Yeah.
For us. So.
Oh my gosh. So I worked retail for over a decade. Like that was like the first part of my life. Yeah. And those mannequins were terrible. Like to try.
Really?
Oh my goodness. Like we went through so many different iterations, and depending on what store you work for, like they have their own set of mannequins, but I remember there was one particular store I worked for, and there was a huge investment, and like all these new mannequins were coming to the store. And I remember them being so fragile. And so everything, like the arms and the legs, were all attached by magnets, almost like really strong magnets. And which is better than the previous ones, which were kind of like you had to put it in and lock it a certain way, and it made it challenging if the clothes didn't want them. And I just remember, because the kids love playing in the mannequins. So, the mom would be shopping, or the dad, and then the kids were running, and I'm always just like, oh no, because I don't remember if they were made of some kind of like plaster. There was something about it that they chipped easily, and if you dropped it, they would like just break, and they were so expensive. Yeah. So, but they looked good.
Yeah. Mannequins are very interesting. I will say that I am proud of the folks who are ordering the mannequins, because they are now true to life, size wise. Like there's a Foot Locker, I think, that I walk by on my way into the city. And I'm like, this mannequin, she's like a woman, and I was like, oh,
okay. The other thing that was always tough is like the clothes didn't ever really fit them. So then you're pinning them, but it made it look like you were trying to cheat people. But it was like, well, they're not as proportionate as you would think for the clothes. That it was a whole thing. Anyway,
sorry, just went on a whole little tangent about mannequins. Hi everyone.
So you're crocheting for summer right now,
because that's what you're supposed to be doing right now, right? Like I see a lot of posts, people talking about, oh, what are you making for fall? I'm like, I'm trying to embrace the season that I'm in right now, and not think about cold weather. Like I'm ready for some nice sunshiny weather. So you gotta have your bikinis and your little tank tops and those kinds of things. That's what I think.
That's awesome.
How about you? When do you crochet, Pam? Real question.
When I'm testing hooks, to be completely honest, is mostly my crochet time. That's about it right now. I am working on a secret project that I can't talk about, but it is for furls, and I'm very excited about that. It's going to be like the first thing I've designed in 3 years, maybe.
Wow.
So
that's a long time.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that. It's going to be a garment.
Yay, Pam.
That's all I can
say. I haven't done this with you in a very, very long time. I know that we have some new folks who have found us and are following us now and are along for the party. So since we really didn't have anything in particular we wanted to talk about today, I'm going to interview you, Pam.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm going to interview you. All right. So first off, to segue back to that question I just asked you, how and when did you start crocheting?
It was in 2012, and my son, I had a newborn, and my husband and I lived in, my boyfriend at the time, or yes, he was fiance at that point, lived in Edmonton. Our son was born. We decided to make the move back across the country, closer to our hometown, so we could be near family. The closest we got was 4 hours away from family. So I was in a brand new town, didn't know anybody, newborn baby. He was 4 months old. Wow. So infant state, still. Husband was working. I was on mat leave, and I needed something to do. I needed something to do. He was actually a really good sleeper. I was very lucky with him.
Ooh.
Daughter made up for it. Never saw sleep again.
It's like, no, this is really how babies are, mommy.
Yeah. But so I kind of needed a hobby because I was going a little bit stir crazy. And then I was a terrible knitter. So I had that grocery bag of yarn and knitting needles that travels. It's always in that one spot in your closet, no matter where you live, for decades. So I pulled that out and started kind of knitting just scarves because I could only knit and purl. Nothing expanded, but I saw this really cute koala hat that was crocheted on a kid. I don't know if it was online or in person. I can't remember that, but I was like, oh, I want to do that. And so Michael's just opened. They had this big grand opening. I I still have the picture of my son in the cart. So this was when he was about 6 months old at this point. And I got a hook and I tried learning online and it didn't go well. So I got Crocheting for Dummies, that book. And it clicked and then it stuck. And then I think a year later, I published my first pattern. It was very quick. It was like life took off.
Like, so I've had this conversation with so many of you amazing designers out there, and that's always a path. So it's either, you're crocheting for someone and it's almost always a kid. You're trying to occupy your time. But then you go from not knowing what to do, using a Crochet for Dummies book, all the way to publishing dang on patterns and like mastering it, and then becoming the CMO of an amazing crochet hook company. Like, if you think about
it doesn't make sense.
It makes no sense. No. And that's why I love it so much. Like, I love origin stories, and anybody who's listened to my interviews knows that's exactly where I hone in first. It's like, how did you get started? How did you become passionate about it? So you went from going to the grand opening of a Michael's with your little kitty pie in the cart, and then you started a brand. Tell everybody a little bit about your brand. Like, you don't have to go into detail if you don't want, but tell us about your brand.
So I guess, my husband had, actually, no, back when I was still knitting, when you first take up a craft and then your personal Facebook page just becomes inundated with photos of that craft. And you're kind of like, this is probably a lot for my friends and family who are here just to see the cute baby pictures. So I was like, well, maybe I'll start a little Facebook page, because this was like
way back,
12 years ago, 13 years ago. And so you had to pick a name for your page. And so I just kind of asked, and my mom said, how about Sincerely Pam? Because whatever I was creating was like, from me. So it's like how you would sign a letter. And so I said, good enough. Because at that point, I didn't plan on doing anything other than showing, what I was doing, in case anyone was interested. But then when I started crocheting, I remember making my first little hat for our son, and my husband came home and he went, how much do you think you could get for that on Etsy? And I was like, I don't know.
Of course. They're always thinking about the money. You're like, I'm just having so much fun. I'm just crocheting and I'm happy. And he's like, okay, so then how are we going to make money from this?
So I started my Etsy store, and I was, selling finished product for a little bit. And then I had opened a daycare by that point because my mat leave was up. And it felt like a natural evolution at the time, because then I started selling my patterns because I was having more fun. I'm not someone who likes to do the same thing every day.
Yeah.
And this is going to sound terrible. But there were times where, there'd be a hat that I would have a finished hat for sale, and I was, welcoming custom colors or whatever it was. And I didn't always like the colors people picked. So it was kind of hard, because sometimes I was like,
so I don't think these go together. So I didn't make it in those colors. These are the colors I made it in. I think these are better.
And right, it sounds so bad. And so at that point, I realized that I preferred the creative aspect of it. I liked creating something and then moving on to something new. And so that, I remember publishing my first pattern. I was so nervous because I didn't know if anyone would like it. And then, I had the Etsy app where I would go cha-ching when you sell your first couple. Yeah. And it kind of went from there. And then I think it was, a few years later. I'm terrible with timelines. I'm so unprepared right now.
It's okay. I just sprung it on you. You didn't know you were being interviewed today.
I started a blog because I had a couple designer friends who really encouraged that. And they said, you could get some ad revenue. It's a really nice compliment to what you're doing. You could put tutorials on there. And I fought it for a long time. And then I finally made the jump and actually preferred the blog to selling at that time. Like there was it just made sense for me and for what I wanted to do. And so I had my second child by that time and started a blog. And then that was, I went to CGOA one year where I met, made some friends who introduced me to Lorene, which is where, like, it was one of those, like, every time I look at it and I look back from like that first time where I was like, I need to get a hobby to where I am now, where I get to travel for work. I get to meet all of you incredible people like Deveter. I'm so grateful that it brought us together. And it's just, it blows my mind. And it truly does. And there's no, I think what makes it so interesting is it wasn't a conscious decision. There was no path I was trying to follow that, to get where I am. It was one of those, it just happened. Like it's strange to really think about it. And I try not to think about it too much because I don't want to wake up and realize.
I hear you. I hear you. It definitely is sombering, though, when you think about it. It's like, man, this really was just something that I enjoyed doing. And now look where it's taken me. But the great thing about you, Pam, is that you're still doing what you love. Like, you may not get to crochet as much as you used to and do those things. But look at what you're providing to those of us who do love to crochet and do have the time to do it. And this is our, some folks who are watching, this is their business. This is their livelihood. And the tools that Furls is providing them, many are your brainchild. So coming from that person who was looking for a hobby to now the chief marketing officer of an amazing company like Furls, like, that's just amazing. And I'm really, really excited for you. And I'm happy that you took all those steps and that they have led you here and to even more. Like, who knows what the future holds, but where you are right now, I'm really excited for you and so happy that you went to that Michael's that day and that you wanted to find something to do with your hands. Because, man, you could have went to the paint aisle, right? You could have.
It's true. And I mean, and I keep thinking of all the times I wanted to give up for whatever reason, because it's not, it sounds easy in theory, right? Like when you hear it, there were so many roadblocks along the way. There were so many times my dishcloth was turning into a triangle and I couldn't figure out why. And there were, but it just, and I spent so much of my life trying to figure out what it was I was supposed to be doing. Cause I knew I had trouble figuring out a major in university. And then I had trouble, like I was good at retail, I was managing stores and doing what I was doing, but it didn't feel like that was supposed to be what I was, but I couldn't figure it out. And so I do now feel like I'm doing what I was maybe meant to do. And so I really appreciate you saying that. And I think that's what makes Furls so different than a lot of other companies, is that we were all crocheters first. There are maybe a couple of people at our warehouse who don't know how to crochet, who are learning, because it's, you see it and then you want to do it. But every other person on our team was a crocheter first and then came to work here. So the way we look at our product and the way we choose what we're doing and how we're showing up it's not by chance. It is because we've been able to build a brand that we wanted to have. And, that we always, and
that makes the difference. That makes the difference. That makes the difference with this company. And we've said it in the past, but this is a small business. Like, this isn't something where you're talking about 500 people are working on things. No, like when you see these hooks and you get these orders and things like that, like these are people who are actually touching the product. They are saying, no, we don't think this is the best quality. As a crocheter, it's not going to work. Like these are the people that are behind Furls Crochet. And so I think it's important that when people become familiar with Furls and they place their first order and they're waiting for it to come in the mail, that somebody physically touched this. Like it wasn't a robot hand that picked up this hook and put, like, no, that's not what happened. Like somebody is quality checking the hooks. Somebody is looking to make sure the swirl looks right, because if it doesn't, it's going to go into seconds. Like there are real people behind this, and Pam is one of the real people behind this. And I just thought today would be a great day just to talk about, who Pam is, besides being the bean spiller. Like she's passionate about this thing, and now we know why. So yeah.
Thank you. And I'll be at the warehouse later this month, and you'll be able to see some of the people who are working behind the scenes. We're going to do a tour, and we're going to do a giveaway and all that fun stuff. So stay tuned to meet more of the team.
So cool to see what you guys are doing in that warehouse. I'm looking forward to seeing all that stuff on the live with you, Pam.
I think it's going to be fun.
I do too. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I was getting really emotional about you.
Well, now it is your turn.
No.
Oh, yeah. Tell us
this
about
is the Pink Show, not Mrs. Deveter.
No. Well, you are also a designer and a podcaster, and you are, a person of many talents. So what brought you to this moment here with me today?
Michelle.
True.
It's all Michelle's fault. No. So it's just amazing, Pam, how everything just worked itself out. You guys know that 2020 was a tumultuous year. And that's when I actually joined the Furls family. I started working with the company as I was working for the the wholesale team. Yeah. So I was one of those people who was helping with the orders and that kind of thing and doing a little bit of marketing, but not in any way what Pam came in and like just did amazing things. But
I just started with, I was the affiliate manager when I started.
Yeah, but so. You just took off on the marketing side of things and just made the company, it's just amazing the things that you did. When we all did, but I just mean your mindset coming from the retail side of things and how you were able to implement certain things with the knowledge that you had from the past. I think that was just really pivotal. But as far as I'm concerned, I started crocheting in 2013, I guess around the same time as you. My sister was pregnant, always a baby. I'm telling you guys, always a baby. I knew how to crochet, but all I knew how to do was go back and forth. I didn't know how to read patterns. I didn't know any of that stuff. But I was in a hair braiding salon and I was working on my niece's blanket. And this young lady, her name is Hope. She's another wonderful, wonderful woman, a great designer, a great crocheter, Hope Ford, Hope's Loving Hands, if you're interested in finding out more about her. She was in the salon and she was crocheting. And I was like, what are you making? And she was making a star blanket. I was like, wait a minute, you could do that? She was like, yeah, you can do all kinds of things with crochet. I was like, this is amazing. She was like, yeah, just go to YouTube and type some stuff in. And so that's what I did. So YouTube was my teacher. I learned how to read patterns from there. I started to understand the science behind it, the numbers. I hated math in school, y'all. Like, hated math. And so when it came to crocheting, you have to count. Like, you have to know numbers and all of that stuff. I still don't gauge, whatever. But you have to know numbers and measurements and all of that stuff. So I started making blankets, and then now I'm making dolls and earrings and just amazing things. And I love it. I love crochet. It is like last night I was crocheting. Like I said, I can't show you what I'm working on because it's Michelle's gift, but I was crocheting the other night and my husband was like, okay, so you need to go to bed. Like, it's time for you to go to sleep. And of course, I'm like, wait, just one more row, just one more this, just one more stitch. I just want to tuck this one thing in. And he's like, I'm going to bed. So, but 2020 is what brought me to the furrows world. And then things happened there and my roles started to change. And Pam was like, we're going to do more lives. And I was like, well, I should be doing the lives. And so that's how. And then we were on a live one time and one of the viewers were in Target and she said somebody walked by her and was like, is that Mrs. Deveter? And I was like, you're lying.
I will never forget that moment.
You remember that?
Never will I forget that moment. That was wild.
That was like insane. I couldn't believe it. So, and I love it. I love just talking about it, talking about crochet, talking about the hooks, talking about design, learning from the different people that we have when we interview. Like, just it's just such a wonderful craft, and I'm glad to be a part of the family.
Well, you are a natural interviewer. That's not a skill everybody has at all. We're so happy.
I don't know where it came from, though. I mean, I like talking to people. What's happening here? I like talking to people. So, I guess if you like to do something, it just comes naturally. And my goal is always, when I am talking to folks, I want them to feel comfortable. I want them to know it's just you and I having a conversation. Forget about, how many people are viewing it and how many people will view it in the future. Just let's have a conversation. Let's have fun. And I hope that that's what I do when I do interview folks. I hope, they feel comfortable and just want to share.
It shows. Oh, I just remembered. So you and I got to meet for the first time in person in New Orleans. It was 2 years ago, I think, this month. No, next month.
Next month.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was hot. It was gross. But I remember screaming my face off when I said, I know it was mutual, but it was outside in public, outside the hotel, and everyone's probably looking, going, what?
No.
We're not tall people either, so we're just like these two
short ladies screaming like
at a crochet event. And then I remember later on, a couple of days later, we went live from the marketplace, not realizing how loud our volume ended up getting. And by the time we looked around, the place had cleared out and I felt awful. So bad.
We were so loud. We were so loud, but it was so
together. And then I got to see you the second time when we were in New York together.
I love you guys.
We love you too.
I love you guys. I'm so glad that we have been connected. You'll never be able to get rid of me. Sorry.
Darn.
You're stuck.
I do know you have a hard stop today in 2 minutes.
I do in 2 minutes because
I think we can do a giveaway real quick.
Let's give something away to the people.
Okay. Birthday month is this month. And I know everyone's like, what's going to happen? And I'm not telling you yet because it's not yet finalized. But what I will do is give away 2 $25 gift cards.
Ooh.
That you can put towards
whatever's happening.
Anything you want. Okay, here we go. I am going to scroll. We're going to do this fast. Okay, ready and go.
Okay, and stop. Monique.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Monique. Email support@furrowscrochet.com. Put winner and today's date in the subject line and say, send me my gift certificate. Congratulations.
Thank you, Deveter. All right. Yeah. Congratulations, Monique. I'm going to start again and go for it. Oh. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. And stop.
Heather. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Heather. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Please email support@furrowscrochet.com. Put in the subject line today's date and winner, and we will get you your $25 certificate. Congratulations.
You know what? It must be a Friday live because guess who's texting me? Ashley Parker from the Loopy Lamb. I swear, it's like she has it on a clock every time.
Tell her I said hi. I need to get my book, dagnabbit. I have to order that book. Her book is so cute.
Wonderful. All right, Mrs. Deveter, thank you so much. We will see you next Friday.
Bye, everybody. Have a good
Bye,
weekend.
everybody.